There was once a man named Jasper, and if you ever forgot his title, he'd be sure to remind you. He had more degrees than a thermometer, and his office walls were covered in framed certificates. A PhD in literature, a master's in philosophy, another in ancient history. You name it, he probably had it. He'd drop his credentials into every conversation, ordering coffee. As someone with a doctorate, I've analyzed the optimal brewing temperature. At a dinner party, or my thesis on sociological dining rituals would suggest, he was insufferable, but no one could deny he was brilliant, at least on paper. One day, the town's old library, a beautiful historic building, was scheduled for demolition to make way for a soulless shopping mall. The community was outraged. Jasper saw this as his moment to shine. He stood before the town council, armed with a 100-page proposal filled with historical precedents, architectural analysis, and philosophical arguments for preservation. He quoted Plato, referenced Foucault, and even threw in some Latin for good measure. He was so proud, so certain his intellectual firepower would save the day. The council members just stared at him, their eyes glazing over. After his grand, jargon-filled speech, a quiet, unassuming woman named Vanessa stepped up. She was the town's retired librarian with no fancy degrees, just 50 years of experience within those library walls. She didn't have a slideshow or a binder. She just spoke from the heart. She told stories about the children who discovered their love for reading in the cozy corner nook. She talked about the generations of families who had used its resources. The hushed whispers of students studying for exams, the comforting smell of old books. She spoke of the library not as a building, but as the town's living room, its heart. Then she pulled out an old, dusty ledger. "This," she said, "is the original founder's diary. He wrote that he wanted this library to be a haven for all, forever." She had a practical plan too, a bake sale, a community fundraiser, and a petition that already had thousands of signatures. Her appeal was simple, emotional, and powerful. The council was moved. The mall developer, seeing the overwhelming public support, withdrew his offer. The library was saved. Jasper stood in the back, his 100-page report feeling very heavy and very useless. He watched as the townspeople surrounded Vanessa, hugging her, thanking her. No one was quoting Plato. They were sharing memories. That evening, humbled, Jasper walked past the library.